Good morning, everyone. EagleX from ATX EagleX Gaming here this morning with another Market Watch. This is for August 26th. If you guys enjoy this content, it would really mean a lot to me if you can like, comment, and if most importantly, subscribe if you felt I've earned your subscription, as making content is a lot of work, and seeing support for these type of videos let me know I'm going in the right direction, as I'm trying to aim for that 1,000 subscriber milestone at the end of the year. That being said, let's start today's short but pretty cool Market Watch. So we always start with sealed product, and we see the range of 150 for a 1.0 booster, going all the way to 42 for an EX1 booster. EX1 boosters actually have some more higher end hits than just analog youth now. I'll show you here shortly, but other sets just to look out. We got a bunch of lower end boxes here. We got New Awakening and Next Adventure being on the cheaper side. But then we have quite a good range in the middle of the BT9, the 1.5, and BT5 boosters. As honestly, there's lots of good staples in all of these. BT9's super relevant right now, but in the long run, the Death X is going to be holding up the price of this set. But talking about EX1, the one card that I noticed is starting to spike lately is Digimon. Even though we have that golden art variant that's going to be in BT11, I think is what it was. Not sure how we're going to get it. Yeah, I think it's a box topper. But this card has been going up really fast. And if you try comparing it to its regular art version, if we go to EX1 and we're looking for the regular art, these are 15 bucks. There's quite a discrepancy in price. You can get one alt art, or you get roughly a place set with an extra machine drum, so 5 machine drums for the price of the one. Next, I want to talk about store championships. These cards are coming into circulation faster and faster as we are getting into our next wave of store championships in October, I believe. So expect these cards to go down in price, but the one card that will hold its price a bit better is EX1, as it's used a lot in the future. Guilmon will hold its price as it is a fan favorite and honestly a really cool art. And then the Quadramon will probably see more play in the future. The other cards I feel are very niche and won't see a lot of play. The middle Mamemon could see play if Mamemon Travel gets support, or Machine Dramon gets support. Then Nemon, if hybrids become relevant or they get another set, could pop up again. But I would still hold out on most of these cards. The EX1's the one I'm a little iffier on scooping now versus later. But these are the champion stamps, keep in mind. Similar note, regionals, we've had a lot of regional participant cards. The newest set has the Dorugamon in it, which is the chase card that a lot of people want to get. I think it's one of the most sold ones right now too, at 26 bucks. Longevity wise, it's really cool, but we know Dorgray will get hit in the future. We just don't know when yet, so be mindful of that. The Lydramon is another thing a lot of people like. It is going in armor, it's going in Imperial, it has lots of use, similar to the Pyildramon. They go in pretty much the same decks together. If there is anything else to look out for, it's probably the Shakomons. I think the Shakos look really cool, personally. That's more of a preference for the art style. Moving on, though. I want to talk about the upcoming meta in BT10. People are scared that we are entering a Tier 0 format, and it's going to be very rough for sure. I got a little bit of EX3 in here because it's a pseudo set. But things to be mindful of. Crossheart, if you guys aren't aware about this deck, it runs a lot of Tamers, similar to what hybrid decks did, 4, 8, 10, 13, 14-ish Tamers, give, take. This is a cookie cutter build. It's not the best build, but you can just see what an average build has. So if we're thinking about cards that relate to Tamers and playing around them, well, you can think about cards that either give you advantage or that try to slow them down. Slowing them down is not as easy, but there are things to consider. So first, BT9 112, if you guys know that card. It is used in a lot of these decks. That is Death Xmon. If you don't have these, definitely consider scooping these sooner than later. They did not get hit on the restriction list, so I expect their prices to go up when the usefulness increases more into the next set. On a similar note, if you don't want to play for advantage with Tamers, you can try playing the Tamer tempo game where you remove them. And we have 3 options for that. First being Omnimon's Wart Defeat. BT5 112, if we go ahead and look that up on Digimeta to see how relevant this card was, we can see he wasn't played a whole lot, but it's something to keep in mind, and honestly, The card is pretty good price for 35 bucks. A sub $40 secret that sees lots of play at some point and can see more play in the future is not bad. Not to mention, if he does have another mode, he can go up in price. And one card I forgot to pull up here is Lucemon Chaos Mode, another way to pop Tamers. This guy has been hovering between like the upper 20s and mid 30s a lot lately. Looks like he's kind of dipping a bit, but he's pretty stable around the $40 range at a good amount of supply. So just one other card to keep in mind for trying to counter Crossheart, because there's not really a lot you can do to invest in Crossheart besides buying the new set. But if your goal is to counter it, Tamer deletion is a big thing, and Blackware Gray kind of fits in that same niche. If you can Digivolve and pop up to a play cost of 6 Tamers, so you can pop basically 2 of any Tamer with the exception of the blue one. It's not a horrible idea. I don't know if it's fast enough, though, is the issue. But just something to keep in mind, especially if you like his deck and play styles. So we've seen Crosshair, I showed examples. Next, I kind of want to go over another style of deck. Security Control doesn't really die ever. Magna Angemons are a core to this deck, and there's a few different ways you can build it into next set too, as you try to tempo out healing while doing damage to your opponent by trying to put in some potent security cards. And the one card that's always staple in these decks is Magna Angemon. We know this card desperately needs some type of reprint, some way to lower the price, but if you're trying to play the deck now, there is no announced reprint of this card anywhere. So if you want to play the deck, you will have to kind of suck up and pay the $50 per copy, give take. And you can probably get a playset for $175, $180-ish if you were to find someone with a set. But that is just a card to keep in mind. Next, I want to talk about Bloomlord. It's going to be the last deck I talk about today. This deck is actually a strong performing deck in Japan as well. It's a big flood, spit out everything on the board style deck, kind of like Jesmon does with Sisters, except you do it with plants. I call it the vegan deck. But you can see there's some cards you can actually pick up now for the vegan deck, or Bloomlord deck. The first thing I want to point out, you're trying to build up to your boss monster level 6, and a lot of the game plan is to keep things suspended on your side. And as you can tell, the eggs are a solid 4 of Argomon, so if you guys don't have these, go for max rarity ones. They're pretty cheap right now. They're like $9 give take. Argomon's definitely a scoop. On a similar note, with Blossomon, if you want max rarity, this card isn't always a 4 of, but you can often find it as 2 to 4 ofs in its respective list. Well guys, that's today's Market Watch. It's a bit shorter than normal, but let me know what you think below in the comments. That being said, take care y'all, and have a nice night.